Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is a little walkthrough of the mini album I made using a tab binding system with the Three Little Pigs paper collection exclusively available at Country Craft Creations. And I wanted to just show you what I did. I ended up using some fabric and I used my glossy accents along with some hot glue to go ahead and put this fabric down onto the edge of the frame here and then onto the back cover. I left this where if I press on the outside of the book, I made sure to leave enough fabric there to stretch here so that it looks loose usually, and it's just a cover for the tab binding system. You don't have to do that, it's just for looks, and I wanted to use a little bit of fabric, so I did that. Here's one of the frames I showed you in the tutorial. I'll link it below, but I showed you in the tutorial how I went ahead and sized this paper from the collection to cut it down to the frame size. And then I've used some things from my stash, and you might want to check out countrycraftcreations.com for not only this paper collection, but many of the things I've used here in this album, like the linen tape, and some of the other doohickeys, I'll call it. But I went ahead and added a pocket here, so I used an embossing folder. This is one of the texture fades. I've went ahead and used a pen to go around all of the word stickers that I put on here. So I used archival ink pen just to do a little sketching, and you can see I did a little faux stitching as well, just to give a little bit of interest here. These are some tuck spots. This is a little magnet thing that I picked up and had in my stash. Here's one of the pieces from an ephemera pack. So this gives you an excuse to use stuff out of your stash, and if you do any junk journaling, the odds and ends that you collect. So this is an example. This is an envelope that I received in the mail, and I went ahead and used it so that I could have a spot for a little window behind. This is the little paper ruffle that I've made in past videos. I will link that below. I used some of the paper collection here, just pieced it onto the back side of a plain cardstock there, so I could tuck that in. I think I had that like this to the side of the envelope because I cut a slit in it. Here's one of the pages from the collection, and this is on some light duty chipboard, I should say. And here's another one. So I picked out little words to use here that I thought might be a little inspiring. So start somewhere. So the little pig is starting on his journey. Then I've shown this in the tutorial that I pulled out this out of a music book that I have and I use for junk journaling. But this is after the Mother Goose rhyme. This little pig went to market. Thought that was cute. Added a little spot here for photo, and just like a mini photo, and this is a little tuck underneath so that you can still put the photo under there. A little strip of the fabric here that I use as a pull tab. I have here a little piece of the paper collection that was torn on the edge, but it was long enough, and I love this text, the script here, so I wanted to use it, so I created a little pocket spot here. Then I created a little tuck spot here and stapled this on. And this is some paper that I've shown in past videos that I used a jelly plate with some acrylic paints on. So I thought the coloring went really well with the hay from the collection. These are some number strips these are available. I saw these on the website at Country Craft Creations, and I went in and pulled out some addresses for the three little pigs. So this one happens to be 317 Main Street. So he's building his house of hay or straw. So this one says, take risks. I thought that was fitting. Open this up, put a little tuck spot here with the ruffle behind. This is that gold artisan cardstock. I thought is beautiful with this collection. So you have some spots for photographs. This is a journaling card that I had in my stash, and I just went ahead and cut out this little ephemera piece from the collection and tuck this underneath that right there. This is, this is just stuck in here underneath, what are these things called? Not safety pin, but paper clip. And I went ahead and hot glued two pieces of the paper collection together, and you can kind of see that paper clip under there, so that there's one piece on the back side of that second piece of paper, which goes over this, and then you can also use this underneath as a paper clip as well. So I think that's pretty cool. So you can tuck things underneath just like so. Okay. Then this is a pocket that we created in the video. This one says, be brave. You have a little pieces of the paper collection just for color. This is another one of the ephemera pieces, and this is another piece of paper that I used with the jelly plate. So journaling spot here, journaling card that I had in my stash. These are stitched on each end. It's just a little 1-inch gusset here. I love this page with that wolf, that size wolf. This is a piece out of the paper collection that I showed you that I cut off, so that windmill. And I just folded this over, so this is another little journaling spot if you want. Be curious, so continue on your way, but look, nom nom nom. I thought that was fitting for the wolf. He's on his way. This is just a piece out of a book, page out of a book, I should say. Here's the other side of that second paper clip. So when we take this off, I have used a tea bag that I dried, and then I opened it up and sewed it on two sides to create a little tuck spot here. So we have the wolf in there from the paper collection's ephemera pieces. Then we have the little piggy here that I had cut off from the page I used on that front cover under the window, and a little piece of linen tape, and this is just a piece out of my stash, but I created a little tuck spot here. There's a little thumb notch you can see there, and I created that little tuck spot there. And then I showed this in my baseball album, where this is an explosion page is what I called it. So we just fold it, and that's how I ended up using that beautiful page from the collection there with the wolf and all the veggies. So I thought that was cute. We can just tuck this right back in. And then I was just layering these up like so, and use my little paper clip to hold it shut. Really fun. So this one says, do your best. This little pig is doing his best to build his house of sticks here. Super cute. And then this is the page. I folded it over. I glued it at the bottom, folded this down, and then glued it underneath so that it creates just a little tuck spot there. And this just says, turn the page. So of your life, just turn the page. There's a piece of the gold artisan. Here's a piece that I cut off from another. I showed that in my video. A journaling spot. And this is a tag that I had played with and had in my stash from previous. And I thought it was pretty cool with all the woods there. So that's a nice little journaling spot as well. So here's a piece that I folded over this journaling card as the background. This is from the paper collection. I put the stitch on there, and then this is one of those little glassine bags that I've got out of a CCC, either retreat or something that I like to hold on to. But I just folded this down, and I hot glued on a paper ruffle there. And this is just a little strip from the paper collection, another one that I had cut off, but I just want to take advantage of being able to use that nice text, once upon a time. And the idea is you can journal in here with pen. So, you know, little odds and end spots that you can use to journal, and you like the feel and texture, as Sally likes to say in her journals, right? So here I used another mini attacher staple with a piece of fabric just for a pull spot. I think these ducks are just so darling. And then on the back side of this page, I just used a scrap of cardstock, plain cardstock, so that I could create another little journaling spot. Similar to here, this is a piece of the paper, or the book page, and I wanted to create a little journaling spot there, so I did that. So this just tucks in. This is glued at the bottom and then wrapped around the page here. And then this is wrapped here, and I have a little 1/2 inch strip that's tucked around and then glued down to the back side of this journaling card and glued down here at the bottom so that I could have a little spot for these journaling tags here. So another piece off of the collection that I just wanted to use, and I thought it was beautifully available there for journaling. And this is from the actual tags portion of the collection that you can cut up. So I kept 2 of them together, I scored it, folded it over, burnished it there, and then just tucked that in like so. This linen tape is just for decoration. I wanted to use it. This one says be you bravely. So even though that wolf is coming around and trying to huff and puff, this little pig is building his house at 217 Chestnut Street of bricks. I just think that that's so sweet. So I created a spot here for a photo. I cut out this little wheat from the ephemera piece, and then I left it open under here so that you could actually tuck your photo in on top. But I glued this photo mat down only as like a U so that you could use it as another tuck spot here. And this was a piece that I had cut off and showed in the tutorial. And I want to make sure to use some of this gold foil that I had in my stash so that I could see a mirror of myself and remind myself to be brave. So flip the page here, and I created this little tuck spot at the top. And it says curiosity. We have these cute little ducks that are being curious, I think. I used some texture paste here with a stencil to create the bricks, and then I just used some Distress ink vintage photo on top of it, just daubing it on top to create the different brown textures. And then this is a piece of cardstock I just had on my desk from another project, and I cut it and glued it down like a little fishtail flag. So another little journaling spot and use of the gold paper I had laying around. Now this is another envelope that I got in the mail, so I just recycling it again for that crinkle, but I glued some of the paper collection underneath that crinkle so that I could see those lovely apples and the text that's running across there. And then I just piecemealed papers down in and around the window opening. I fussy cut out this little bit of apple that I had as a scrap piece of paper about this size on my desk, and I went ahead and glued that down, and this says see the good. There's another piece of the linen tape. This is a little piece of just some of the fabric. When I ripped off the fabric to use on the outside binding piece, I had this little strip left over, so I just doubled it up, tripled it up, quadrupled it up, and created a little bow there. But anyway, this is a little tuck spot because it is an envelope after all from the mail. I tucked a piece of the cardstock in here because I love that it said live happily ever after. So it's just a short little piece, but it creates a good way for me to be able to tuck something in and pull it out because of the different widths here. So this says see the good. turn it over, and I created, because this was a long envelope, I folded over onto itself. It creates another little tuck spot here. So it says adventure awaits. I just did some additional paper piecing here, and one of those pieces that I did some paper piecing with, I just glued only on 2 sides so that I could have another little tuck spot there for decoration. And here's another little journaling spot from some cardstock, leftover pieces of scrap paper from that were on my desk, and this is a journaling tag that I just tucked down into that envelope there. So you can see that. Okay. So that's that, and I just have this setting in here. I don't have it glued in. I don't have it, linen taped in. I might do that, but I don't. Haven't decided just yet. May do that. But love this paper from the collection. Backside here is just another little tuck spot. I created a little pocket. This is just a piece of the gold artisan cardstock that I ran it through my sewing machine to give it a zigzag stitch and put this down, do what you love. And then I glued it onto this base page here in 3 sides. Just a leftover piece from the paper collection there. Ooh. This was intended to go in that pocket. Okay, and this is the back page here that says make today count. That's fun, full of wonder. And that's the back of my little mini album. I hope you have enjoyed this walkthrough, and I hope you take the time to just be creative. Until next time, everyone, happy crafting, you all. Check out the paper collection on countrycraftcreations.com. Bye.